Hi, it's Bruno with LNS Farms, Liam Bruno and Shoemaker Farms. My lovely assistant, can't speak, is off filling some barrels with water so that we can water some of the seedlings we have coming up here. But in the meantime, I would like to talk to you about another one of the reasons why we use this method of gardening and farming. All right. So if you could look behind me here, uh, we have it's the beginning of this bed that we're making. It's a new bed. We're doing this in a way that we normally do it, but we're doing it so that we can show you how this works. Okay, so what we did here is this is carbon friendly. It is weeding friendly. For those of you who don't like weeding, I hate weeding. Okay, so but weeding is, for the most part, always been a big part of our gardening and farming, and we've come up with a way that we essentially don't weed. All right, now what we did here is no till. When you till and you disturb the soil, you release carbon dioxide from you release the carbons that are trapped in the soils. Not all of it, but a good amount of it. So to to keep that in the soil, we use a no-till method. It also doesn't disturb the layers of soil and the way that the organics and the breakdown and all the microbes and worms and things like that that make topsoil rich and black and a great place for our veggies to grow. Okay, so what we do instead is we don't weed at all. As you can see over here in the background where our potato patch is. We didn't do any weeding. What we did is we covered the area with about 6 inches of wood chips first. Then we put straw over top of it. Since that's pretty much like a solid bed, we put straw over the whole thing. Then we pushed the straw to the side, put our seed potatoes down, with each one, I put a fistful of finished cow manure compost. Okay, it doesn't have to be cow manure compost. It could be whatever manure that you have accessible to you. Or if you see those yellow bags over there, we purchased cow manure, completely composted cow manure. We did that because we wanted to see exactly what it would take and what it will cost. And we're going to show you at the end of the season what our output was and how well we did with this and what the costs were. So you could decide for yourself whether it's a good fit for you also. Uh, you can see we have some piles of wood chips over here. You could do this in a big scale like we're doing it, or you could do it on a smaller scale, whatever suits you. This particular bed here will be 60 by 60, and then there's going to be another bed over here that will be approximately 60 by about 200, and that will be tomatoes, squash, zucchini, um, eggplant, basil, all sorts of goodies. Uh, there's a like I told you in an earlier video, we practice companion planting, and there's a lot of things that complement each other. Some of those things over there don't do well over here, so that's why we don't have, like, for example, the tomatoes over here. And I promise you, in the next probably week or so, I will make a more in-depth video about the companion plantings and discuss some of why some of the plants do better with each other and some that are better kept separate. Okay, so so anyway, as you can see here, we've windrowed up some of these chips. Since we're doing it on a big scale, what I do is I use the the box blade on the back of the tractor and push the chips into these nice rows like this, and we do everything with a string. Uh, as you can see as I walk down over here, I don't know if you can see it in the videotape, but there is a string that goes from this stake to the one way down over there, and that gives us a guideline so we can make our rows. Each one of our planting beds is about 3 feet wide. with a 2-foot area in the middle for us to run with wheelbarrows or a wagon down there, so that we can use that in when we top dress with compost throughout the season, and when we harvest, so that we're not carrying all this stuff by hand. So we're going to go down this other end here now, and I'm going to show you what we do instead of weeding. Pulling weeds is back-breaking work. It's not a lot of fun. Most people don't like doing it. I know I don't. And so this is what I'm going to show you what we do here. Now, if we were to weed, we would have to take a hoe or another implement or to get some of these weeds out of the ground, and that is not a lot of fun. And you usually don't get the whole thing. The roots are still there. They keep coming up. It can be frustrating. So what I do is that I'm going to take this fork. It's a little bit more challenging with one hand while I'm holding the camera. All right, but we're going to go over here. I'm going to steal some of these chips right here. All right, and we're going to go over here by the potato patch. And instead of pulling these weeds out of the ground, all right, you'll see that right here we have this happy little potato plant, and right next to it, some grasses and daisies have made their home here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these, we're going to kind of wind them up a little bit. We're going to push them down. All right, now you could, if you wanted, you could snip them off if you wanted, or break them off at the ground if that suits your fancy a little bit better. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put some wood chips right on top of them, just like that. Now, what that will do is that those wood chips now will keep that weed down. And as they get wet, the water will still get down to our potato plant and the weeds, but because the weed is covered with wood chips, it will start to decompose and will end up being feed for our potato plant. Here we have something a lot bigger, a little bit woody. Again, same thing. I will twist this up here a little bit so it's a little easier for me to cover with the chips. Okay, and once I get that so it stays down like that, we'll put some wood chips on top of it. Obviously it's a little bigger. I need to get some more wood chips because it will require a little bit more to cover it. Over here to my windrow chips, steal a little bit more. All right, I'm going to take these and now that weed is completely covered and we won't bother with it. Okay, so it's really easy. It's kind of hard to do when you're holding the camera in one hand, but for the most part, it's relatively easy. This potatoes, we were not as picky with this as we would be with some of the other vegetables, to put a more thick layer of chips and straw down to suppress the weeds, because we'll have some of these that'll be kind of a little bit persistent. We'll put some wood chips on them, and within a couple weeks the potato plants will spread out enough where that they'll kind of crowd out any of these weeds anyway. Right, this bed here, we figured when we planted it that we would get at least 500 pounds of potatoes from it. We are going to figure out how much we get out of it, and we'll let you know whether it surpassed, I can't speak this afternoon, surpassed our expectations, or if it was not a great idea. The soil underneath is very clay heavy soil, which generally is not the greatest for root vegetables. Right, that's another reason why we chose to do the chips and the straw on top in a lot of our areas, because not only does that become great topsoil, but it means we didn't have to dig down into excuse me, that clay layer and break it up and improve it in a way that would make the potatoes grow in it better. The earthworms and the microbes that grow within the straw and the wood chips are going to do that for us. There's our happy little beehive over to the side of our garden. The bees are buzzing away doing their thing. We should have some honey to harvest shortly. Anybody that's interested in buying any of the things that we grow here, whether it be honey or bee products, honey, beeswax, or any of our vegetables and eggs and chicken, please let us know. Depending on where you are, we deliver. We will be selling chicken parts and the eggs, so get your orders in soon, because we don't have a tremendous supply, but we do have enough here to go around. And also, if you show your interest, it makes it easier for us to plan our plantings and our harvestings and schedule, so that we can keep everybody as happy as we can. If you have any questions, ideas, thoughts, suggestions, please put them in the comments, message us. We love to hear from you. Hit the like button, share this with your friends, relatives, whoever. And it really helps us here at the farm. And we look forward to hearing from you. And we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.